Good afternoon. It is Thursday, April the 1st, 2021. Sego David Lahashu Juts, and welcome to today's edition of the COVID-19 Task Force Update on this, our 197th edition of Kahnawake 911. This afternoon, our guests will include Arnold Lazare, Task Force member, Montour-Lazare from the KMHC, Lisa Westaway, the Executive Director of the KMHC, and Lloyd Phillips, Commissioner of Public Safety. Well, it is a pretty busy show, lots of information to get through, so we'll start off with Arnold. Arnold?
Good afternoon. Just a quick update on the vaccinations for non-residents. As it was mentioned, there is some vaccines available, and at this point we're able to, as a courtesy, offer vaccines to non-resident employees who primarily deal with multiple people from the community. It's always been our goal to protect the people in the community, and if someone is a non-resident and working in a place that requires them to have multiple interactions, we've been able to, as a courtesy, offer some vaccines. Now, there has been multiple requests for it, and we are doing our best to work through it. Just to let you know that over the last 2 days we've been taking information. If someone is in a position to be vaccinated, they will receive a call. We're fortunate that this can be done in an effort to protect the community members. And with developments, as Lloyd mentioned this morning, we are constantly trying to hit a moving target. This is one item that was able to, we've been able to accomplish this week. So just make sure those that contacted us, keep an eye on your cell phones. The hospital staff will do an excellent job in contacting you when appropriate. Thank you very much. Have a good Easter weekend and have a safe Easter weekend.
Now, Arnold. Up next, Montour-Lazare from the KMHC. Don?
Good afternoon. Okay, so I'm coming to speak about pregnancy, breastfeeding, and those who are planning on getting pregnant. We've got a lot of questions coming in through our question line, so I thought I'd come in here to try and give as much information as I can so that people can make an informed consent. So we will, we can give you the information, and it'll be you to decide. But ultimately, the other thing is you can contact your doctor or Karine if you happen to be going to KMHC to get some more information if you need it. So what do we know about COVID-19 and its effects on pregnant women? Well, we do know that pregnancy doesn't make you more likely to get COVID, but we do know that approximately 8 to 11% of pregnant women will require hospitalization for COVID-related problems, and between 2 and 4% of pregnant women will require admission to an intensive care. So compared to non-pregnant women, if you have COVID, you're more likely to land out on invasive ventilation with being intubated. In addition, we've also know that the Canadian and US data show that there's an increase of preterm birth associated with COVID-19 infection in pregnancy, which may cause problems for the baby related to prematurity. So what do we know about vaccines in pregnancy? So we've been giving vaccines for decades to pregnant women, and we know that we know that they've been very effective with a lot of things like pertussis, pneumonias, vaccine for flu. We've been giving those for decades and decades. So we know that they're safe. We know that they're very efficacious, so meaning that they work very well in pregnant women. We expect that we should have the same kind of efficacy as well as safety with COVID-19 vaccines. But what we do know as well too is that there hasn't been a lot of research done with COVID vaccines with pregnant women, because it's not ethically, it's not the thing that they can do, especially at the first phase. But we do know that there has been several women within the Pfizer and the Moderna studies that have had COVID, or have been vaccinated and found out they were pregnant afterwards. And so they followed their pregnancies and the births afterwards, and know that there's been no ill effects on mom or baby. We also know that any risks, there have been no red flags or hypothesized mechanism for potential harm that we can see with the mRNA vaccines, which we are presently giving, or we have been giving in Kahnawà, which would be the Pfizer and Moderna. And until there's more data, the potential risks of vaccination to a pregnant woman and fetus remain unknown and only theoretical. But know that as well, that the Society of Obstetricians and Gynecologists of Canada are highly recommending that pregnant women, breastfeeding women, and women planning on getting pregnant to get vaccinated because of the increased risks that come with pregnancy and getting COVID. Also for women who are breastfeeding, there's no contraindication for them getting the vaccine. It does not slow milk production, does not cause any ill effects. In fact, there is, as with other vaccines, we know that there is some immunity that passes through the breast milk to baby, and there's no reason to believe that this wouldn't happen with the COVID vaccine as well too. And I've had questions also about people who are planning on getting pregnant. So if you're trying to be pregnant, to get pregnant now or want to get pregnant in the future, you may receive the COVID vaccine when one is available to you. There's no evidence that any vaccines, including COVID-19 vaccines, cause any fertility problems. The CDC does not recommend routine pregnancy testing for pregnancy tests before getting the COVID vaccination, and neither does the Society of Obstetricians and Gynecologists of Canada. So we know that it is safe, based on this data, to get pregnant following the vaccine, or if you're planning on getting the vaccine and if you're early in your pregnancy. What the Society of Obstetricians and Gynecologists have said as well too is that regardless of what stage you are in your pregnancy, that they still recommend that getting the vaccine, especially if you have more risk factors like having difficulty with lung issues or cardiac issues, like I would say like asthma. It'd be best if you got vaccinated to protect you, because we already know that being pregnant and having COVID puts you more at risk. So we're looking at the risk and the risk benefits. The benefits outweigh the risks. But again, I will say that it's up to you to decide. I'm here to give the information. If you have any more questions about vaccines, we always recommend you can call at 450-638-3930, extension 2213, and you will speak to a nurse. We have the calls forwarded to a cell phone, so we're at the vaccination center, so there's always a nurse answering the phones if anybody has any questions. And we've also had people walk into the clinic, and we've answered their questions there. And you're always welcome to get the questions asked and answered by us. So it's not a bother. We want to make sure that people make informed consent. So we want to make sure that you have the information, the best information that's available. Reminding that you try and get your information from reliable sources like the CDC, Public Health Agency of Canada, Quebec.ca. Those are all reliable sources to get information about vaccines and COVID. Now go.
Nyawa Don. Next up is Lisa Westaway from the KMHC. Lisa.
Thank you. Very quick update today. The last few days we've been talking about a reassessment of our numbers. So I don't have a drum roll or anything, but I did want to talk about the fact that we do believe that we have estimated the number of eligible people 18 plus within the community to be vaccinated, and therefore after doing some more number crunching, after removing as well any individuals who are vaccinated who actually are not from the community. As you know, we have vaccinated some people in that way. We do have a new percentage to give to you today. And so our new number is 69%. So that's really, really great. After just a few short weeks of our vaccination campaign, we have just about hit the 70% mark. And as you know, our goal had been 80%. We still have a few days left for vaccination. In fact, tomorrow was going to be a last blitz, but because we really want to get those numbers as high as possible and ensure that you have every opportunity, we will be open as well on Tuesday, and for Kahnawake specifically. So we really urge you, again, if you have questions, to call that number, that extension that Dawn gave you. In fact, since we've released that information, we have many, many people who are calling, asking a lot of very pertinent, relevant questions, and our nurses are very capable of answering them, and so it helps people feel more comfortable. So we urge you to call if you have any questions. On Wednesday, we will be vaccinating non-local employees from the service sector. As you saw, the memo went out yesterday, and we ask you to not come to the door. We will be calling every individual and booking an appointment over the coming days, and that vaccination will take place next week. So we'll confirm days and times when we call you personally. Another update, we did have confirmation today that Pfizer will be delivered for 16, 17-year-olds the week of the 11th. I don't have the exact date yet or times, so we'll give you more information over the course of next week while we organize that vaccination period for the 16 and 17-year-olds. One last thing, as you know, the variants are increasing. And as we have said over the last several weeks, over the last month, the expectation was that by April 1st, over 50% of the cases, new COVID-related cases, would be a result of a variant. And we are seeing numbers increase drastically in that area. So although the regular COVID strain new cases are decreasing rapidly, we see a very rapid exponential increase in number of cases related to variants. If we're following what's happening in some of the provinces around us, Ontario going into full lockdown, BC as well, many of the US states as well experiencing some severe impacts of the variants. We do have a really wonderful opportunity here to protect ourselves, and we have to just keep it going. We have to keep getting vaccinated. This is going to make a big difference. I urge you to watch a video that was released yesterday explaining what efficacy means regarding vaccination, what the goal of the vaccination campaign is. Really, the goal of the vaccination campaign is to decrease our chances of catching COVID-19, but it's not to eliminate COVID-19 necessarily. That can't happen until we have a large number of people vaccinated. But what it does ensure 100% is that if we do get COVID, we end up with cold-like symptoms and we don't end up hospitalized or we don't die. So the important thing is to be vaccinated to protect each other. A reminder, the less symptoms we have, the less chance we have of spreading to someone else. And this is the whole goal of mass vaccination. The more people who are vaccinated, the less chance we have of spreading the virus until eventually we can eradicate it. So just a last reminder, the testing site is closed for 4 days. So it's closed Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We posted a memo and the phone number, the address, how to make an appointment. If you do have COVID-like symptoms this weekend and you want to be tested, you will be oriented towards the Chateauguay site on Maple. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lisa. And next up is Lloyd Phillips, Commissioner of Public Safety. Lloyd.
Thank you very much, Arnold, Don, Lisa, for your information that you shared with the community. Certainly, you know, it's been a long month. It is April 1st today, but March has certainly been primarily dedicated to vaccination. and the beginning of the month, we opened the vaccination center in the community, and we've been rolling out vaccine ever since. As Lisa just mentioned, we're looking at 69% of community members vaccinated to date, and we are still striving. As we said from the beginning, we wanted our goal was 80% plus. But if we can get up there past 70 and pushing towards the 80 in the next couple of days, that would be great. So I would encourage those people, again, who may not be 100% sure whether or not they want to get the vaccine. You do have all day tomorrow, and as well as you do have time on Tuesday to get vaccinated. And again, I encourage you to contact KMHC, if you have any concerns or any last-minute questions. And again, I'll emphasize even the fact that Don had mentioned, even if you do get to the vaccination center and you do have questions, the nurse that is there ready to vaccinate you could explain and answer any of your last-minute questions, and then at that point in time, you could make yourself an informed decision. So it has been an interesting month, and interesting in several ways. And as we've seen at the last part of the month, and including yesterday, the threat and the reality of a third wave of COVID has taken hold in Ontario, has taken hold in large parts of Quebec, and is very concerning and very alarming to the task force, and it should be very alarming to our community because we obviously live in the greater Montreal area. We are surrounded by other municipalities who have not been vaccinated nearly to the extent that we are. We're at 69%. Outside Kahnawà, they're still working on 60 plus age group, and they're looking at only maybe 10 to 11% of their population has been vaccinated to date. So we've got to be mindful of that and careful. And we are fortunate as a community to have such high numbers and start people building that immunity to COVID-19. And as I mentioned before, if we have people vaccinated, and if we remain vigilant, no matter how big the third wave is around us, we have the ability to keep our community as safe as possible. There's certainly no guarantees, but if we're vigilant, people vaccinated, we follow the measures. We could be that island, in the middle of the ocean where we could have, the third wave that can go around us, and we can keep our community relatively unscathed. That would be, the ultimate goal at the end of this next while, because many parts of Quebec are going back into lockdown effective today, in Quebec City area, Ottawa-Gatineau area, and so that's very very concerning. Right now, according to Dr. Arruda, who's the head doctor in Quebec, has said that the Montreal area is stable, but also warned that the fact that situation can change on a moment's notice. They are dealing with, or we are all dealing with, I should say, a lot of variants. The way we understood, or they understood, the scientists understood the COVID-19 virus going back a year ago has changed. It evolved. New information, new data, new variants. So we have to adjust the way we react and we respond to the pandemic. And again, the basic measures still apply. The basic measures have been working. Our community is in a very good spot. 0 active cases, 69% of our community vaccinated, which is very good and very positive. But with that said, I don't want our community to get complacent and feel that we can let down our guard and that we don't got to be vigilant because we have 0 active cases. That could change very rapidly, especially with the new variants. It was evidence that it spreads much quicker than previously. So one case could lead to 5, 6, 10 cases very easily. So we got to maintain those measures and the safe distancing, hygiene, masks, and obviously looking after the well-being of each other. With that said, we all know it's Easter weekend. It's a long weekend for many people. I know it's another holiday that we have to chalk up to COVID-19, which we have to celebrate differently. We can be together with family differently. Right now, a reminder: it still is only one household allowed in another household indoors. Again, once per week. And that's, again, to make sure that we remain safe. And if there is somebody who is COVID positive, that it is limited in its spread, but also a maximum of 8 people outdoors. again, safely distanced. So that does give the ability for people to get together outside on your back deck, on your back patio, or wherever. Have Easter egg hunt, with the little ones, and have lunch or dinner, whatever you want, in a safe way outdoors. So we're trying to encourage people to keep that in mind. Follow those directives. Again, there's one more holiday that we have to pass. Hopefully, it'll be one of the last major holidays we have before we're through the pandemic. Dr. Theresa Tam, who's the head doctor for Canada, talked about this as well, and saying, we have to hang in there, and this is hopefully one of the last big pushes we need to do as a community, but as a whole country, for that matter, to get us through the pandemic, get us on the other side, where we have a large percentage of the population that is vaccinated, where we're able to get back our lives to a normal state as fast and as safely as we possibly can. In Kahnawà, we are ahead of that game. We are watching the numbers very closely. We're looking forward to when we could start with even further measures, but we're not there yet. We're having much discussion with all appropriate people. We will be having task force meeting next week. We will be discussing a path forward, but again, we have to remain vigilant and keep in mind what's happening around us. And that's extremely important for us to take that very seriously, and again, we adjust our actions accordingly. So with that, everybody, I really do wish you a safe and happy holiday for those who do celebrate Easter holiday, and those obviously who enjoy a few days off of work to recharge your batteries and such. So be safe, hang in there a little while longer, and I'll talk to you soon. Onerahtókha.
Lloyd, appreciate all that information. And as everybody mentioned, it is Easter weekend, so please be very safe this weekend. Be safe and enjoy the time with your family and what you can do over the weekend. It's going to be nice, so try and get out there if you can. And just another reminder, we are continuing to showcase our community vaccine testimonials. And if you'd like to submit your own testimonial, please send it to questions@mck.ca, or you can also send a message through our Kahnawake 911 Facebook page. And that's it for our update for today. From all of us here, Yawagoa, Danu, Onegiwahi.